Hi, this is Lady Sharona again, and this is a little episode, keeping up with the Viking theme, is all about runes, because actually runes is something I was drawn to a long time ago, and a lot of people often ask me, they say, well, are they supposed to be made of stone or whatever? The answer is no. The original Viking oracles, we threw them. There were bits of bone and bits of wood. They weren't nice little sizes or anything like that. They were basically things they could gather up. Bone was very popular, but of course now we're we're a little bit more aware of our animal rights, and plus we don't go out and hunt whole stags or whatever. So wood is preferable. And the runes should be made of wood with a burnt carving in them. Okay, I'm going to show you some of them now. This one is for Freya. It's the rune of abundance and growth and fertility, maybe pregnancy or big advances in your money situation. I like that. The runes were actually an alphabet. There's actually like 24 letters. There's a couple missing, and then the th was used instead of just a regular, that was used as a single letter, even though it's a diphthong to us. But the one thing you have to know when you're dealing with the runes is they have to be blooded. Okay? When Odin sacrificed himself to get the knowledge of the runes, therefore the knowledge of the reading and writing system and the magic they contain, he hung on the tree upside down, Yggdrasil, for 40 days and 40 nights, and he lost his eye. He gave up his eye for the wisdom and the magic of the runes. Okay? And the thing is, if you really are a rune mistress or master or oracle, whichever you like to say, it's very important, and the gods do demand this of you, that you blood your runes. The very first set of runes I got, and I was a lot younger, and it was very easy for me to just cut my hand and blood my runes. And this set I got like 2 years ago. And some of you might remember on Facebook my finger when I got it stuck in the blender. Okay, that day I had looked at my runes and I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't blood them because maybe people are going to be creeped out or whatever, or think it's a biohazard or whatever. So I didn't blood them, even though they were on my altar being blessed. But that night I got my finger caught in a blender. Freak accident, but there was blood all over the house. I mean, it looked like somebody had actually been shot. There was blood spatter everywhere. CS, I would probably had a field day in there. But I got it. It's like, you've got to blood your runes. So I did use all that blood, and I blooded my runes and gave my sacrifice to Odin, because he had sacrificed an eye. I can't sacrifice a bit of blood. Makes sense, But the amazing thing is, my finger was so torn up, it looked almost like I could lose the finger. And the same as when I had cut myself willingly to blood my runes. There's no scar, there's no nerve damage, and both wounds completely healed within about 2 days. Okay? So that was my conviction right there, that, yeah, that was a sign from Odin. It's like, you got to sacrifice a little bit. And they're your runes. If you want to read your runes very well, if you want to be able to tell people exactly what the gods are saying, you better blood them. So that's something that's not very attractive to a lot of people. So I imagine, people who really know that don't want to, read the runes because of it. And people who play around with the runes wonder why they're not very accurate. But the minute you blood them, they become very, very, very potent. And, you don't need as many runes in a reading as like with tarot cards or anything like that. They're just very simple shapes. But they're also great for magic. If you're doing like a spell for money, you could put, once again, the Freya sigil, okay? And then I would put Tyr, because he's victory. Okay, this is one of my patron gods, Tyr. And then I would use the actual sigil for money, which of course I can't find right now, but oh, there it is. Fehu, which actually means prosperity. And you would actually put these by your candle or paint them on your candle. And if you paint them, if you paint runes onto a candle, you must always use red. You don't have to paint them in blood, but you should use the red as a symbol of that. Okay? But runes are very powerful magic, very powerful divination. They don't give as many details as tarot, but they're always right. It's always a message that the gods want you to know about. You know, it's not necessarily going to answer your question exactly the way you want. You're going to be told what you need to be told. But that's just a little bit about runes. I do offer rune readings, and you know, I don't expect people to pick up my blooded runes. Of course, I will pick them up for them. But if ever you want one, you go to my website, of course, naturally, ladysharonapsychic.net or .com, and that's what I can tell you about the runes. If I knew the whole poem about Odin hanging on the tree for 40 days and 40 nights, which is really a beautiful piece of poetry, part of the Edda, I would close with that, but I don't. So instead, I'm just going to close with bye-bye. All right? And yeah, call me for a rune reading. Okay? We can do it over the phone. No problem. Okay? Bye-bye.